Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, except for last week because we were off and we had a fantastic little break right there. Nice vacation. I went to Disneyland because that's what you do with my family, and we had a great time there. We were at Legoland, and I think Blake went to the San Diego Zoo. So California, we represented. We were all over that place, and it was awesome. I had a great time at Judges Week as well. We've got some interviews and things like that we're going to be showing you very soon, leading up to E3. E3 is coming like a freight train, and it's going to be so exciting. But we've got some exciting stuff in this episode to get to, starting with your rundown, which is dedicated to Matt Figuera, who is a brand new sponsor, and also to Atari co-founder Ted Dabney, who died over the weekend. Rest in peace, Ted. Thank you and Nolan Bushnell for all that you have done for this industry and for bringing video games to life for us. But let's get started with your rundown. It looks like Disney has had their first big blunder with the Star Wars franchise. Solo had a disappointing opening weekend, earning just $103 million domestically and $68 million internationally, well below Disney's expectations. Solo, like other Star Wars films, did particularly bad in China, where it opened in third place, which is a big problem considering that China will soon be the world's biggest film market. All this means that Solo, with a budget estimated to be more than $300 million because they had to do all of that reshooting, probably won't turn a profit in theaters, effectively making it a box office bomb. Now, Johnny Millennium and I saw Solo last week, and our review is up on Film Fury, and we both liked it. We didn't love it. We both thought that there was some good work in there. Alden Ehrenreich actually did a pretty decent job sort of handling the mantle of of Han Solo, which was owned by Harrison Ford. I really felt, though, that it was just all too soon. Like, they worked too hard to put this movie into production too quickly after just introducing us to the new trilogy and bringing back, Harrison Ford and all the other the classic characters. And it just felt like, why would you try to dampen all that with a young Han Solo when Harrison Ford was a young Han Solo? The age difference just doesn't make a lot of sense. And then when they fired Chris Miller and Phil Lord and replaced them with Ron Howard, it's like, well, take your time, do this right. And Ron Howard did a good job sort of racing to get this thing done, but yes, too soon. And even pushing this back to Christmas time, I think would have made a world of difference for the film. The movie isn't terrible. There is some fun stuff in there. There are some good surprises, good performances. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of fun little spoilers. One of them that I thought was really cool, which isn't a huge spoiler. So if you haven't seen this, just put this on mute here for a second. We're going to get back to your regular rundown right away. But if I thought the Terrace Cassie or Terrace Kasai, however Emilia Clarke said it as Kira. She mentions that she had trained with Terrace Kasai. Now, anybody that's played video games for a long time remembers Masters of Terrace Kasai or Terrace Cassie or however they pronounce it, the old Star Wars fighting game, which was terrible, but it's just hilarious that they kind of threw that little homage there. I thought that was all right. The idea that the AI from L3 is embedded into the Millennium Falcon is kind of cool because C-3PO has a conversation in The Empire Strikes Back about the dialect that the ship has. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I'd learned that over the weekend as well. But the big reveal, obviously, and this is major spoiler if you don't want to know anything about what happened in Solo, is obviously the connection to the Clone Wars and to Star Wars Rebels and the reemergence of Darth Maul, voiced by Sam Witwer, who was on EP Live not too long ago, and portrayed by Ray Park again, which was really cool. I liked that idea and that reveal and that bringing back that character, because Darth Maul is like Boba Fett, who we now know is coming up next in a standalone. Very cool concept. But it was kind of cheesily handled. He actually, they've got this hologram type thing, and then for whatever reason he has to stand up and turn on his lightsaber and show off his robotic legs, which is all explained in the animated shows. And I get that they're connecting all the threads and all that stuff, and then we see that Kira's connected with Darth Maul, and I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting, but it was a little like a fan film, the way they put all that together. Still, interesting. We shall see. Now, I'm out of spoiler territory. The box office numbers not being as big as they were expected to be, or Disney hoped that they would be, I think is going to have some pretty big ramifications for Star Wars going forward. I do expect that this is going to be a huge movie on home video, because everybody that didn't show up for the flick in the theaters is going to be very curious by the time this hits Blu-rays and stuff like that. But we now know that we're going to get James Mangold directed Boba Fett film. I fully expect that we're going to see an Obi-Wan movie, and perhaps we're going to see that character that appears in Solo pop into the Obi-Wan movie. I'm excited for those, but I don't know if we're going to see too much from this cast again, because I don't know if Disney's going to want to associate itself with this thing. I mean, who knows? Maybe the legs will be long on this, and maybe the home video will turn this into a modest hit at the end of the day. But it is kind of shocking. And, I got to tell you, to be honest, when I was at Disneyland and I was looking at all the Solo merchandise and the Solo marketing at Disneyland, it felt a little tepid. It felt a little, non-committal. Like Disney kind of knew that this was not going to be the big block. I mean, you still saw Harrison Ford everywhere and Alden Ehrenreich in a couple of little spots. It wasn't like, and that's the problem, right? Like, you come out with a Han Solo movie, it should just dominate and be all over the place, and we should know this guy and know this new character and know this new actor, and it's like they were afraid to step on Harrison Ford's toes, and also the fans of Harrison Ford's toes, and that's just the wrong way to kind of come out with your brand new Han Solo picture, So it's definitely a disappointment. But the movie wasn't devoid of fun. There was actually some pretty interesting elements in there. Watch our review. I think Star Wars would be well served by. The Boba Fett thing sounds interesting. They're going to turn this character that was very much squandered in the movies into something bigger and better. Presumably there isn't too much cold feet, but I am excited for when we sort of venture off the beaten path and get to know characters that we don't have any association with. And some of those moments and some of those characters that were introduced in Solo actually were interesting and could have been embellished to be even better. And we saw that with Rogue One as well, that there's lots of opportunity out there. It's going to be tricky. I think Disney should be working closely with Marvel and what they're doing with the Star Wars comic books, and turn some of those stories into shows and potentially movies as well, because I think they're doing some fantastic work with the comic books. And the one thing that I did say in my Solo review is that this felt like a TV show, so maybe that's kind of a direction. Maybe they're going to turn Alden Ehrenreich's version of what he's done into a show, which wouldn't be a bad idea. It wouldn't be, maybe that's what Favreau and everybody's got planned, is to sort of take these characters and just let them run in I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it is interesting, Like, the thing that Marvel's got going for it is that they already have all of these built-in massive legacies and stories and things like that. They can easily, well, not easily, but they can flip them and convert them and adapt them into feature films from all of this source. And Star Wars is really, they took it away from George and they're just making it up as they go, and it's not the same, It's just not the same, and there's so much expectation. Anyways, we're gonna see what happens there, but very interesting times to be a Star Wars fan. Electronic Arts and developer DICE have learned their lesson, speaking of Star Wars, from their last Star Wars blunder. Following the big reveal event for Battlefield 5 late last week, EA and DICE have confirmed that the new game will not have any loot boxes or a premium pass. This means every player will have access to the same maps and modes, and more importantly, it means that the game will avoid the loot box controversy that plagued the last DICE game, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Battlefield 5 will still have a deluxe edition that includes extra in-game content like special assignments and 20 weekly customization items, but it sounds like there won't be any pay-to-win content. It deploys October 19th, and that is absolutely the right lesson to learn from Battlefront 2. I think we were all correct in being very vocal about this stuff with EA. EA can't just slap in the stuff that works for FIFA Ultimate Team into every single product that they put out there. It's not like we all want to collect cards for everything. I still remember how disappointing Need for Speed was. I think there is a model where people will accept a little bit of mystery around what they're paying for, but when you're talking about, so many years of a shooter type of experience where you pay one price and you get the whole thing, and then you just start taking things back and selling things back in kind of sneaky ways, of course you're going to piss people off. I don't think that this Loot Crate story is finished or over. I think that it was such a huge cash cow and such an important part of the business for a lot of different companies at a lot of different stages. They need to kind of work through this, and the last thing that all of these publishers, including EA, should be doing is alienating their audiences or pissing them off or creating bad publicity or making their partners like the Disney Lucasfilm folks angry at perception around their brands. It's too fragile, and we saw the effects of it. Battlefront 2 lost millions and millions of dollars because of this. So I think bravo EA, let's stay on this tack, and I hope that they bring up a lot of discussion around this very subject with their E3 presentations. And we hear kind of a new approach to all of this stuff because the developers have built us good games, and it's tragic that Battlefront 2, which was a great game, just got completely smashed under the bus of this awful news around the title, which was justified. The anger was justified. But those developers built us something really, really special. Couple that with the backlash on the Last Jedi and now the disappointment on Solo, man. It's been a heartbreaking bunch of months to be in love with Star Wars. There's been a lot of things to kind of keep us away, and hopefully the tide turns on all of that stuff. And also Amy Hennig's game getting canceled as well. Crazy. Who would have thought, right? You'd think you have the keys to the kingdom with that Star Wars brand, and everything is just going to be gravy and perfect, and it can still mess up and be very messy and piss a lot of people off along the way. Anyways, moving over to streaming giant Netflix, it's now the most valuable media company in the world. The price of Netflix shares overtook Disney for the first time on Thursday afternoon, making Netflix the most valuable media company by market capitalization. The two have fluctuated back and forth since then, but if Netflix continues to grow, they could eclipse Disney permanently. Then again, the market could turn and Disney would emerge once again as the front runner, so we'll have to wait and see. Either way, this is evidence of the popularity of streaming versus other forms of entertainment. That's why Disney is creating their own streaming service to rival Netflix due out online next year. Do I think Netflix is going to continue to grow? Yeah, they have no choice, right? They're a public company, and they have shareholders that need them to grow, and the way that they're growing is very much the way that a company like Electronic Arts grew, is tying up brands and properties and exclusive intellectual property that you can only access through their services. And that's what Netflix has been very, very good at. I think what they're going to find themselves in, though, is a very confrontational, competitive environment very soon, where all of the players are going to start to have their own streaming services. And Disney, especially with something like this Fox deal, is trying to have as much market share around big brand IP as they possibly can, and they're also physicalizing it in terms of merchandise and theme parks and things like that, which Netflix currently doesn't do. And the thing that may, apart from this heavy competitive kind of landscape that's about to happen, Netflix hasn't faced what's about to happen in its history yet. Nothing has worked as aggressively as what Disney is proposing, and then Warner Brothers has their DC online, their DC entertainment portal as well. CBS All Access has been doing all right. Amazon, we're gonna have an Amazon story after this. They're all coming. They're all gunning for Netflix. So, and we've seen that Netflix doesn't have like this standard quality bar that is like they're all great. They have a lot of this, just like any media company. And the thing that Netflix has had to do is they've had to partner with a lot of external production companies that own their own stakes or their own properties that they license to Netflix. So Netflix doesn't in fact own a lot of that content. They own some, but they don't own all of it. And those companies can then choose to sell in lots of other different ways. And if companies like Disney or Warner Brothers or CBS or whatever other streaming services offer competitive gains or benefits that are. We're going to start to see a lot of these shows and movies elsewhere. That could really hurt Netflix's bottom line as well. I think it would be a huge blow if Netflix suddenly lost all of their Marvel shows. That hasn't been said. Nobody said that that's happening. It's been hinted at that big changes like that could happen. But a lot of the Marvel Netflix shows feel a little bit more mature oriented than what Disney is proposing with their streaming service. So they're a good fit for Netflix. But that would be a huge setback, right? And then if all the CW shows that are on Netflix suddenly aren't there because they're going to be on the DC portal from Warner Brothers, that's a big setback for Netflix as well. But Netflix did buy Mark Millar's company, and they're investing in their own sort of comic book properties and superhero types of content as well. Almost like they got their own sort of embedded publishing house that they're converting into television programming. Going to be very interesting. I don't know if Netflix can sort of handle all of, the challenge from every corner. The thing that Disney and all of these other, older media houses have is this really ingrained licensing history and lots of connections and getting their products out to retail and toys and beach towels and all of these other things. Netflix is still kind of learning all of that, I think they're on top now, but a lot of it is just because they came out first with really cool technology. We'll see who's gonna be there in the long run with all of this stuff. I think Netflix personally is kind of ripe for acquisition by one of these media players. Could be Apple, could be Amazon, could be Disney, but we'll see what happens. This is going to get nuts. And now another big streaming company has stepped in to save The Expanse. Yay! Amazon has officially picked up the show for a 4th season. The Expanse was canceled by its original network Sci-Fi earlier this month, causing a huge social media campaign to get it picked up by a different network or streaming service, and apparently Amazon was paying attention. Apparently Jeff Bezos himself announced that they were saving the show, which is really cool. Science fiction shows like The Expanse are usually very popular with streaming audiences, while on traditional television it's the opposite and they struggle to find viewers. That's because people that love smart shows like The Expanse are busy people and they like to watch their shows on their own damn time. This means you can expect future science fiction shows to be made exclusively for streaming platforms. No premiere window yet for the 4th season of The Expanse. Excellent show. It is very dense. It is very intelligent. It takes space travel kind of seriously and the effects of space travel on the human body kind of seriously. There's lots of great technology that all kind of makes sense. There's a lot of gray area between the conflicts on here. There's some noir type stuff. There's some Blade Runner type stuff. There's some Battlestar type kind of vibes in this thing. Some creepy interstellar alien grotesque stuff in here as well. It delivers, man. There's a lot in these seasons, and I'm very excited for more. And, hats off to the producers and the people involved. I think this is all produced in Toronto as well, so I know a lot of Canadians are employed by The Expanse. So congrats to everybody that gets to make more of it. It is a great show. I recommend that you watch it. And thank you, Amazon, for saving it. But let's move on. It's time for This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day in Everything Cool for May 28th. On this day in 1976, the film industry started to change. Martin Scorsese's violent and gritty movie Taxi Driver won the prestigious Palme d'Or at the 29th Cannes Film Festival. The movie, which had been released in the US a few months earlier, was very controversial thanks to its violence, not to mention the dark and gritty nature of its main character, Travis Bickle. Despite the controversy, Taxi Driver was a huge hit with critics, and the win at Cannes helped cement its status, and it went on to be nominated for other big awards like the Oscars and Golden Globes. Taxi Driver exemplifies the shift in Hollywood that was happening in the 1970s, with the traditional studio system being replaced by younger filmmakers who weren't afraid to be more experimental and take on more risky subject matter. Another Crazy Taxi raced onto the streets on May 28, 2001. That's when Sega released Crazy Taxi 2 on the Dreamcast, serving as a sequel to the first game that had been released on the system 2 years earlier. Both games thrust players into an open world where they can pick up different passengers and then race to get them to their destinations in record time, and the sequel featured more cities, new vehicles, and the ability to pick up multiple passengers at once. The games were a success, but due to the failure of the Dreamcast itself, they didn't really take off until they made the jump to other platforms like the Xbox and the PC. The Dreamcast isn't the only system with awesome games that few people played. On May 28, 2015, Nintendo splattered the Wii U with the original Splatoon game, giving players a new kind of family-friendly shooter. Instead of firing bullets at each other, players instead splashed each other and the world around them with colorful ink, and the more territory your team inked, the faster you could move over it. This was a cool mechanic that made Splatoon unique in the shooter genre, but because the Wii U had such a low install base, the game just wasn't played by very many people. That changed when Nintendo released Splatoon 2 on the much more popular Switch in 2017. Always something happens, something cool happens every single day. That's one of my favorite new things that we've done this year. I love this day and everything cool. Blake's been writing those up, and he's been kicking butt on finding us all kinds of cool things to talk about. One of the cool things that has happened this year is Season 2 of Westworld. We were off last week, so I didn't get a chance to review Episode 5. Let's take a look at that. Westworld Season 2, Episode 5 is all about Shogun World, and that was really cool because we've been teased of this new part of the mega park before, but we got to spend some real time with some warriors, some Shogun warriors, ancient Japanese warriors, also some ninjas. There's an amazing battle sequence in there, and we get to see how the whole park system kind of works and how some of the plot lines are kind of repeated with different contexts, and it is a super cool episode that gives us a really nice kind of variation on the whole cowboys thing, and we get some actual cowboys fighting Japanese warriors, which is incredible. And there's some great sword combat in there. It looks super authentic and super flashy moves and some pretty good storytelling in there. We also get a sense of Maeve, who has got way more powers now. She doesn't even need any of the technicians or anything like that to kind of start commandeering some of the other hosts in there. We see her become sort of aware of her abilities. Doesn't even need to vocalize things, and she can make some of the hosts do her bidding, which is an incredible sequence in this episode. It certainly feels like a kind of safe episode, even though there was a pretty elaborate kind of Japanese town set for us and lots of incredible makeup and wardrobe and stuff. It doesn't feel as expansive, the massive vistas and things. That it isn't where all the money has been spent on this show, is to create Shogun World. We have lots of sets and lots of great outdoor locations for Westworld, and Shogun World is kind of contained, but still with the amount of extras and the amount of different kinds of costumes and different people that are placed in front of the camera for us, it does manage to ratchet up to kind of epic scale, and there's some pretty dramatic conflict in there. And we also get some pretty good sequences with Dolores and Teddy. That's kind of coming to a head, that whole relationship. And we also get a little tease about some of the meddling that Bernard has been doing with a lot of the hosts and stuff, and some of the humans are starting to figure out that there's a lot more going on beneath the surface on all of this. It was a good episode. It was maybe not as fun as last week's show, but I did have a good time kind of exploring this new world. It'll be interesting to see if Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy take us to any other versions of the parks, and we get to see some other kinds of realities in this crazy world that they're building for us. But I'm having a good time, and of course this is all leading to this epic showdown where we're going to see the humans fight all of these hosts, and it's going to be gnarly, there's probably going to be a little bit from this park and a little bit from this park, and who knows what they're going to throw at us. I'm digging it though, and it certainly was a nice kind of departure from the Wild West stuff that we've been doing in Westworld so far. I'm going to give it Kane no Me, which is the name of episode 5 in season 2, an 8.5 out of 10. Man, I'm loving that show. I've seen, of course, last night's episode as well. We'll have a review of episode 6 from season 2 in tomorrow's EP Live. We are going to have a very special guest as well, so you're going to want to come back for that. Right now, though, let's take a look at a buried treasure. You know how last year everybody was talking about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the Switch as being kind of like a My First XCOM? Well, I'll tell you what, back in 2011, right with sort of the launch year of the 3DS, Ubisoft released a Ghost Recon game called Shadow Wars, which could also qualify as a My First XCOM kind of deal. It's all sort of grid-based combat. You've got enemies that you can't see until you kind of put your characters, the characters that you control, into harm's way, and you've got medics and snipers and recon characters, and you basically have to take over territory. And what was interesting about this game is that there was verticality introduced in here, not unlike Mario plus Rabbids. And you were basically trying to go on missions and rescue some VIPs and take back the territory from the enemy combatants that you were going to face and wipe them all out. And then you'd get judged on every mission, and you would sort of progress through a campaign. There were also skirmish modes, but it was a very effective way to play on the 3DS, and they actually had some pretty cool 3D effects, which are going to look a lot better on the new 3DS or the more current model of the 3DS. It was a solid game, and I've been actually kind of jonesing to go back and play this sucker because I had such a good time playing Mario plus Rabbids. I was like, I want to play more games like this. And this is one of those titles that if you enjoyed that on the Switch last year, and it was a big hit for Ubisoft, you can go back in time a little bit. The 3DS is still very popular out there, and if you're looking for a cartridge that you can pick up probably at a pretty good discount, I think you could probably get this on the eShop store as well. You should check this out. It's a very solid turn-based strategy title, and it's got that Ghost Recon kind of, pseudo-realism streak all the way through it. I was very impressed, and that's why Ghost Recon Shadow Wars is a buried treasure. Love that Ghost Recon game on the 3DS. I've been thinking about that thing like crazy. That's what buried treasures always get you doing. It's like, oh yeah, I want to go back and play that. But a game I did play a lot of, and I've got your review right now for you, is Detroit Become Human. Let's see, we have the Terminator, we have Blade Runner, we have Altered Carbon, we have Battlestar Galactica. The list is endless. There are so many examples of great stories where robots are in conflict with human beings. The latest is called Detroit Become Human. This is developed by Quantic Dream for the PlayStation 4. It's another exclusive in the PlayStation camp from this developer, and it's also another interactive narrative adventure from these guys. These are people that really like to specialize in making interactive stories that are threaded, that are kind of like choose your own adventure. You have choices that you have to make as the characters that will absolutely define how scenes play out. But make no mistake, this is very much a watch scenes transpire kind of experience. It is absolutely a sit back and watch the performances, watch the acting, and watch all of the character modeling and all of the animation and art details that go into telling and crafting a story. It's a game that really aspires to want to be connected to a lot of our best movies and television stories out there.
Could you tell us a little more about that?
Let me break down a little bit about what this story is. What Quantic Dream likes to do is they throw in a bunch of different characters, and this is what they did with the fantastic Heavy Rain, which I still think is their strongest title so far. They also did something similar with Beyond Two Souls. But this one, you play as three central android characters. You play as Kara, who is in charge of this family unit and has to kind of care for this little girl named Alice. You play as Marcus, who is taking care of this older gentleman, played by Lance Henriksen. Marcus is played by Jesse Williams. And you also play as Connor, who is a police detective. And Brian Deckard plays Connor, and I think he does a pretty terrific job in this game, by the way. But you're an android cop that is partnered with a human cop, so right away that made me think of Holmes and Yo-Yo, a terrible show from the 70s, which, we've seen that kind of scenario before, too, the buddy cop movie where the cops are very different people, but you basically butt heads with this guy all the way through the game, which I thought was fun. And certainly I enjoyed the relationship between Kara and Alice as well, the sort of mother-daughter bond that happens there, and Kara's just trying to get Alice to safety and protect her from some evildoers and some harm that befalls them. I thought that was kind of a cool threaded storyline in there. And Marcus is really in charge of this new operation to kind of awaken the androids out there, because they've been placed into servitude, as we would expect if we're creating android helpers. They would end up doing all the jobs that humans wouldn't want to do. They get sort of beaten down, and so Marcus, suddenly he finds a purpose in his life, and he tries to awaken all the other androids that he encounters, eventually leading up to a pretty thrilling scenario where we've got, hordes and hordes of androids facing off against hordes and hordes of humans, and what that means, what this sort of artificial consciousness means. And it plays with a lot of things that we've seen similarly explored in lots of other great science fiction and fantasy when it comes to robot brothers and sisters living among us.
You're awake now.
That's cool, but it doesn't really move the needle story-wise. We just watched Blade Runner 2049. I just streamed all of Altered Carbon, All of this stuff is still present in my mind. And, I do believe that we as a human race are sort of at the precipice of having to kind of really understand what it's going to mean to create, artificial intelligence that is self-aware, and how we're going to coexist. And I think this is pertinent and valuable subject matter for storytelling, but we have it around us in so many different ways, and frankly, with a lot more subtlety and a lot more nuance. And when we're talking about a game like this, which, when you watch the making of after you've completed the game, you kind of recognize that they spent 4 years modeling and shading and creating all the characters and filming all the mocap. And I just think, the story's pretty cool. It's not a revolution in storytelling. It's not the best version of this, future myth that we're all quickly approaching as a potential reality. And because they spent so much time on this, I just had to think, why didn't they just shoot this as a show? Why didn't they just take a year and make this with these actors and make it a movie or make it a show? I don't know. I don't know what the total cost is on this, but I know hundreds of people worked on this for 4 years, and I just feel like maybe they could have shot the first movie game with some real pedigree, with a pretty solid story, with some great effects, and it might have come off cheaper than this and still be as powerful and still be as effective. Like a lot of the other Quantic Dream titles that we've had in the past, it feels like you don't get a lot of actual agency. You don't get a lot of real control over what you're going to do. You have control over the way the stories thread and some of the different scenarios that you can watch played out in different ways. It's fun to kind of replay those experiences over and over again. But for the most part, you're on a pretty, preordained linear path that doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room. Frankly, the sort of corridor-based, movement opportunities that you're allowed, they go to the effect of creating a cool couple of city blocks, but you can only see up to the corner, and then you're automatically turned around, or you can look outside of a window, but you can only look this far, and then you can sort of press the triangle button to investigate a little bit. Or sometimes you've got this huge open space that you think you can walk anywhere, but you can literally only press up and walk in one direction and follow a guard in there. I felt like an android kind of playing this game at some points. Every time I wanted to just go off in every direction, I found myself slapped, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to do this. And yes, we have a branching narrative, and look, you can look at the flow chart and you can see all the different options that you can go, but honestly, there's only this many ways that you can go. And that was the other thing too, is I did not like seeing this flowchart. I did not like, I wanted to toggle all of that stuff off. I did not give a crap about how everybody else played it or how many other options there were. I didn't want to see the game design document. I wanted to forget I was playing a video game or forget that I was involved in a story and just get lost in it. And I couldn't help but compare it to so many other stories where we've got robots living among humans in much more profound and cooler ways. On a superficial level, it's really slick, and I applaud all the work, but it kind of bored me. Great impetus, great talents, but underwhelming. I'm going to give Detroit Become Human a 6.5 out of 10. I got some great feedback through the review here, guys. Thank you so much for watching that. Yeah, I was disappointed with Detroit Become Human. I was let down. I wanted it to be more exciting than it was, and I think, frankly, it's the well-trodden sort of territory, and someone pointed out that David Cage is a bit ham-fisted. But yeah, as DAK lives, or DAK lives, says, at least Cage keeps swinging the bat. He's talking about David Cage, the writer and director of these things. I feel like he so wants to make a movie, he should just make a movie, and make a movie maybe like in the same vein as Her Story, which was all shot with video, but have a little bit more production and create some elaborate sets or some CG sets and shoot it with video, but let us go in branching different directions. I can't imagine that the technology is so untouchable now that we couldn't have video pieces sliced together that sort of play like the games that Quantic Dream keeps building for us. And they are trying so much to create a sense of visual realism with the graphics that they create for these games, that why don't you just shoot it? Why don't you just make it a TV show or a movie? You know what I'm saying? How meaningful would it be if the devs had used video games to have a real conversation about AI rather than simply retreading the old narrative? Yeah, George R. Martin, absolutely. Yeah, there was nothing in there that was just like made me profoundly question this conversation or this perspective or this viewpoint. There was nothing. I mean, when you look at, and I brought up all of these examples in Blade Runner and Altered Carbon, which wasn't great, but still had some interesting stuff in there. Ronald D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica is one of the pinnacle kind of statements about how we are going to interface and connect with and get along, ultimately get along or be destroyed by artificial companions and robots and stuff. And this doesn't come anywhere close to that. It's unfortunate. It's ambitious as hell for a video game in terms of storytelling, but that is becoming less and less of a thing that you can really project your praise on when you have games like God of War, which have incredible narrative structure and amazing characters and great dialogue, and also let you do almost anything you feel like you want to do as the God of War. Interesting stuff. Yeah, and I've heard Humans is very cool. This is the thing, right? Like there's so many things, Paul, that's a great point. There's so many other pieces of fiction, because this is of the moment. This idea, I almost wish that they had made more like Heavy Rain, Quantic Dream. I feel like go in the direction of more human. You're dealing with a game system around artificiality and a remove because of technology, and so many layers of intelligence around how it's all constructed and how we interface and play with all of this stuff. The smarter play for Quantic Dream would be to move away from that and maybe make a period piece where we actually care about the individuals from a very human level, like we did with Human Reign. The fact that we lost a kid and we're screaming, Jason, and there was a Jason button in Heavy Rain is something I will never forget, that terror that you felt as the father. And in this, they touch on pieces like that, but it doesn't get there. Anyways, we are moving on to a new segment. We're not still reviewing Detroit Become Human. I gave you my score. It was okay. It was a letdown. Let's talk about State of Decay 2. I have just started to play this a little bit. I've just touched it. We're going to do a little let's play and stream, or let's play and chat. Blake Siefkin's going to join me right now. I'm going to put 20 minutes on the clock.
Make some noise first. So I can hear it.
Okay, check.
Go in the game, make some noise.
Oh, I'll see if I... Now I'm going to have zombies come after us, though. I'm just wasting bullets. You see that? Did you hear it?
Just give me a sec.
Okay. I'm just throwing my bullets around.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to put 20 minutes on the clock, and Blake will handle the chat. This is a multiplayer game, but I'm playing in private by myself. It's also a game about a community. I did not play Legacy Collection Audrey Leon. I haven't got that yet. I have just shot the review for Shantae, which is coming in the next couple of days. And I played some classic arcade games, which are going to be coming soon. I've got Sega Genesis Collection and Street Fighter Collection.
Hang on, I forgot something.
On deck. So lots of reviews coming this week, and some pretty cool interviews. I spoke with the story supervisor for The Incredibles 2, and I've seen about 35 minutes of the movie so far.
Oh, can we show off those toys we got?
Yeah, sure.
Might be.
Absolutely. I
I
don't know
know
if they can
that
see it in the tiny
The
little...
interview is embargoed, but I don't know. Where is it?
I put them under there. Oh, I think they're right there. Oh, there you go.
We got free Lego toys. I'll show the camera.
I have no room for that. Okay.
Oh, it's all dark. Can't see.
Yeah, you can't see
Anyway.
it.
We got Edna mode
I'm
Lego
gonna
figures.
drop this. Drop it.
Maybe we can give these out. That might be too much work.
It'll be so expensive to ship one of those
Yeah,
things.
that's true.
Okay.
Anyway, we got free shit, so we're cool.
Here we go.
Vic, did you play the Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on the Switch?
No, I was answering
sorry.
Adrian. I haven't got that yet. I want it though. I want to review that.
I would get it if I didn't just buy it on the PS4 a few
Right.
years ago.
The Switch feels like the perfect place to play it.
Yeah.
So now, this is a game about menu management and
That sounds really exciting.
organization and keeping your community alive. My food stockpile is low. I have to establish an outpost. I'm going to drop this. Oh, drop that.
Surprisingly, John R. Martin, no, Vic and I do not coordinate our outfits.
Or
We just
no,
just dress like this.
yeah.
I actually wore this because I thought, oh, good, Vic doesn't usually wear black flannel, so then at least we're not wearing the same color.
Whenever I put on a non-plaid shirt, I just feel like it's so boring. It's just one color. You know what I'm saying? Is that weird? I don't want the searchers.
Sometimes I wear black T-shirts if I'm feeling really adventurous. So what do you?
Okay, so
Explain this game to me.
I don't know what I'm doing really. Like I've killed a bunch of zombies and I got to this area here and I'm trying to establish this base. And
It's just a survival game, right?
It's a survival game, yes. And I've got a community. I've got a brother
Well, something
who's been infected.
Something said primary goal.
Yeah, my primary goal is to promote a community member to a leader,
So-
and my community goal is to create a home. I'm in this gas station.
So go into the community.
Oh, you know what?
thing.
I got to go here, don't I?
I think maybe, but go into the community bar. Maybe you can just select one and promote him to leader.
I want to claim this outpost, but I can't.
I think you need to try promoting someone first.
Okay.
So go there. Now pick one.
Well, I'm gonna pick her.
She's infected though.
Is she? I think she's just tired.
Oh, okay.
He's infected though. That's her brother right there. So.
But how do you promote one of them to community leader?
I think we have to do some things. So the first thing that we're going to try to do is go into the center here and chat with my people and see if we can heal people. So everybody's
We've got too much stuff. If we can't store it, we're going to lose track of it.
Okay.
Tiago Santos is asking, what big franchise do we hope gets announced at E3? Other than Half-Life 3, because that's the one I want.
The idea of Star Fox coming back really kind of excites me. Like a really cool Star Fox. Of course, we've heard that Retro might be working on a Star Fox racing game, but I don't know. I missed that franchise.
I think it might be too soon for Star Fox, though. Maybe next year?
I mean, if Star Fox is reimagined or re-envisioned like Mario and Zelda just were, I'd be super down for that.
That'd be cool. Make it like Rogue Squadron.
Okay, I need
Not
to
on the
stay here
rails.
and look after a patient. You should go explore the home site you saw earlier. Right, I'm on it.
Keep your eyes open.
Okay,
Slip up on this one. We
so
might
can I heal this guy?
Is this what
I mean, we know a lot of the games. We know Red Dead is coming, and what's going to be announced? Mass Effect won't be. I tweeted that I really want a new Mass Effect.
There won't be a
game.
Mass Effect for another couple of years at least.
Oh, I can cure Colby.
Okay.
And I think we're not going to see Borderlands 3. That was the announcement.
Is this what dying feels like?
He seemed pretty sure.
Maybe that was just a case of misdirection. Maybe we'll see Borderlands.
He seemed emphatic that we were not. That's from talking about Randy Pitchford. We saw him at Judges Week, and he said for sure it will not be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Restore health.
I have a good question from Tyler Fisher.
Yeah.
Do you think that Microsoft also releasing their huge titles on the PC hurts their already weak Xbox One sales? Because this is like a PC game as well, and it's also got the Play Anywhere feature.
I feel like shit.
I think that we are moving away from consoles relatively quickly. I think that we might get one more generation of game consoles with the PlayStation 5 and stuff, but it's really going to be about silos, about accounts and logging in and being able to play on whatever you got.
Even from Nintendo?
Yeah, I think they're moving towards that too. I think that you know the major lesson to be learned from Netflix is that it should be available everywhere, right? And games should be that way too. And Netflix or Microsoft is far along with that, but it does sort of position the Xbox as kind of an afterthought. But I think the more important thing is...
You're neglecting your home base, Vic.
I know I am. I think the blood plague victim.
Shit. This isn't good.
Also, your food stockpile is low. And you need to... One of your survivors has
I need
blood
the
plague.
cure. I don't have the cure. Okay. Okay, so I have to go travel to the location. So the doc said go to the homestead, right? There's a lot going on in this game.
When do you get to shoot zombies?
Did I just develop a base?
Oh, that's a good one. Paul Adamson says, "How about a new Crimson Skies?" That
Oh
would
my God.
be pretty cool.
That would make me so happy.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Or anything to do with Indiana Jones in a meaningful way would make me very happy as well.
It'd be cool if they had an indie game in 2020 with the new movie.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Okay, so we have all of the
Diablo on the Switch, that would be a good one.
health stuff. What do you guys want to see? What's the one announcement? That's a tough thing, right? Like we all want to be surprised by something brand new, and we know that sequels are coming. Crimson Skies, a MechAssault game that made me so happy when I played that on the original Xbox.
Someone just said Duke Nukem from Gearbox. Does Gearbox own the Duke Nukem
Yeah, they do.
rights? They
I'm
own it
not
outright now?
I'm not a fan of Duke.
But what if they
That's
did
from
like?
an era.
What if they gave Duke Nukem the God of War treatment?
I don't think they really could. It's supposed to be that obnoxious and offensive. That's part of the thing about Duke. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the business is doing a pretty good job at servicing our nostalgic wants, you know? Like stuff's good. We know a new Grand Theft Auto is in development, which we won't see.
We're not going to see that till after Red
Yeah.
Dead.
We know Halo's coming. We know Gears is coming.
There was a note or something on the table. On
My site
the
is
table
not
by the door,
secure.
right
Okay.
over there.
Okay, hold on.
To your right.
I'm gonna look in here. I don't think I've got room in my backpack.
Is it that kind of game where you have to worry about?
Yeah.
It's like a Bethesda game where you can't carry a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Now where am I gonna
See, I'm more of a I just want to shoot zombies kind of guy.
that's also a part of it, and that's how the game started. I really should have just started right from the beginning again, but this auto synced me into where I got to on the game. So I'm gonna salvage this. I'll drop it. Why not?
If anyone has any tips on what to do in State of Decay 2, please let us know.
Oh,
Left 4 Dead 3. We're not going to see Left 4 Dead 3 yet.
Left 4 Dead 3 would be kind of rad.
We're not going to see a new Valve
Half-Life,
game.
man.
I already said Half-Life.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
That was the first thing I said.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see a new Valve game for at least another couple of years. Because they only just said that they were starting to make games again.
I've already said this on previous streams, but I hope the biggest announcement is that there is a partnership between Steam and Microsoft. And we're going to be able to play Steam titles on Xbox.
Travel to the location marked on your map to look into it as a potential home. Is that where you are right now?
That's a jump, okay. Yeah, I'm in the circle. I can't get up there. I can't jump there. It does feel a little janky. Okay.
Oh, you had to go up the ramp? That
Yeah.
seems kind of stupid. That's a fast search?
No, if I hold this down, I can fast search,
Oh, I see.
but I make noise, so I just brought in.
Okay.
Okay, so what do I have here? I can't. So I'm out of room. I have no room for any of these things.
Oh, zombies.
Okay.
Yay, excitement.
gotcha.
Nice.
The mechanics are pretty solid in terms of combat, right? Like I've got this melee weapon here.
Yeah.
How do I change my weapon though?
Did you go to the green part of the map? Like the green thing in the map?
I think I was there.
Like,
that was the tent.
Oh.
Let's go in here.
I would just hide out in there. Look, it's got bars on the windows and everything.
I don't know if I can go in though. I might just be searching here. Okay.
Did the zombies run or did they just walk?
See, look, my bag is full. I have hardly anything in here.
Does the animation of the bag itself get smaller and bigger depending on what you have in it?
I don't think so.
That'd be funny. Like if you had nothing in the bag, it's just like flopping on your back.
Okay, I'm dropping this, and now I'm gonna take whatever this is. What is this? A pipe threader. Okay, so that's all I could do was open that, and I got a pipe threader. Okay, I've got a flashlight.
Yeah, will we see actual gameplay footage of Death Stranding? Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It's been 2 years.
I'm sure there will be a playable demo of some kind. For us, probably. Probably won't get hands-on. My food stockpile is low. Welcome home. If you have items to drop off, take them to the supply locker. Okay, so I have this supply locker right here. Open the supply locker. I'm going to drop...
Oh yeah, Rocksteady's new Superman game would probably be the coolest thing if they announced that, or Justice League or whatever it is. That would be a cool trailer to see.
I don't think we're getting that.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Are we allowed to talk about any of this stuff we saw at the Judges
No.
Week? I guess we can talk about Call of Duty. We saw that.
Yes, the Call of Duty we can absolutely talk about.
How do you feel about no single player, Vic?
How do I feel about no single player? I
Yeah.
think it's a bad move. I think when you have so many years of showing people this cool, crazy campaign, and then you take it out.
Yeah.
But maybe their battle royale is going to be amazing. What is this? Bundle of carpentry supplies, rucksack. I'm going to store that. Oh, break open. Okay. There's a lot of things that you have to look at in this screen. You have to. It's all over the. It's all over the screen. I've got data and information up there. I've got data information. It's a lot of cumbersome info. Okay, so I broke that open. A lightweight with very limited space. Okay, so what is this? Oh, I have a bigger backpack here.
This seems like the type of menu that makes
Okay.
you want a mouse and keyboard.
Right. This is probably an easier game to play on the PC. So I changed my small backpack for a bigger backpack, and I have one more piece of space there, okay? And then I can store this, right? Okay, I'm starting to get it.
No trouble at all. Yo, we're running dangerously low on ammo.
Can you kill your teammates?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay, interact with each of the facilities at your base to find out what they do. Okay, so my base is all of this stuff here. So we were just in that unfinished house. And there's a taxi over there.
And you're sure there's nothing in that green
That's
circle?
The green circle's where I am right now.
Oh.
See?
Oh, okay. It's under that tent.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right, so let's go over to the taxi, which I ran right by, I think. I didn't even see it.
It's a good looking game. I like the graphics.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I was pretty impressed when I started to play it a little bit.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun.
This animation of the backpack sort of jiggling when you run looks good. It's a good looking game.
So we could drive this. Yeah, and get into cars and stuff. That's pretty cool.
How's
right?
the driving mechanics?
Feels all right.
Can you run over trees and stuff?
I wish it wasn't nighttime.
I almost ran your guy over.
Yeah, run through stuff, run through the fence.
It's not quite Grand Theft Auto 5 quality, but it's
No,
pretty good.
it's
Looks
not
pretty
bad.
good.
I guess that's
I
kind of
think-
the idea.
Run that zombie over, Vic.
It's like a Grand Theft Auto zombie type experience. I didn't play the first State of Decay. I think Ben and Jose reviewed that one.
Nice. Can you go into first person mode in the car?
I don't know.
I thought that was a zombie getting in the car for a second. The zombie just like sits in the back seat. Oh, that looks good. He's grabbing onto this back. That's really cool. That's really cool. Can you shake him off?
It's not bad.
Nice. That was great.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh, you lost
Just
your
shattered
window,
the
so now the
window.
zombie might. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, the zombies do open the doors. Oh, that's awesome. They, like, pull people out.
Better not let that one get
That's
back up.
great.
That's pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is just on Xbox and PC, because
Yeah.
it's published by Microsoft?
Yeah.
So I can't play this on my Switch.
No.
Well, I guess I'm not playing it.
Or your PS4, no. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I'll have to...
So, I mean, like, the mechanics are fun. I haven't sunk really far, as you can tell, into the gameplay and all the minutiae of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of management. I'm trying to keep people alive, not just me, you know?
Yeah, so
not
it's
me
like-
against the whole world.
It's like Oregon Trail with zombies.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that it's multiplayer, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, and you can just open it up and be totally public, and people can join you. Okay, so I'm in this area. I'm doing everything wrong. I should have established a home base, but I don't quite know how to do that yet. Oh,
Vaz Vegas, will we have familiar faces for the E3 coverage? Yeah, I think Bear.
Bear will be there. Yeah. I came up with an idea over the weekend that I'm going to try to make happen. So can I claim this outpost? Requirements not met. What are my requirements?
Requires 30. You only have 30 of 250 stars.
Ah, okay.
How do you get stars?
I have no idea.
It's probably XP. So if I want to play this game, I'm gonna have to break out my Xbox One,
Yeah,
update it.
yeah.
So that should take all weekend, and then verify the update. That should take another weekend, and then once that's all done, I can play the game. That should be fun.
So,
Oh, Bloodborne 2 would be a good one to see at Sony's E3. Yeah.
okay, so I have this.
Yeah. If Half-Life 3 gets announced, I will blow my mind.
I think we're going to see Bloodborne 2.
Bloodborne 2 would be cool.
I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, what else have they got coming up? I guess Dark Souls Remastered, but that's out already, right?
Yeah.
Or coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm. I think it just shipped.
Yeah, I don't think they have really announced anything.
There is this other secret project from as well. That
Oh yeah?
yeah,
Oh, like a whole new IP?
yeah.
Okay, that'd be cool. What happens if your characters die? Do they actually turn into zombies?
So I guess they do. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got that far, so I don't know. I have skills that I can use. So why don't we put it onto?
Oh. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like you have
Oh,
your
I can specialize. Choose a specialization. Okay. Resourcefulness, increase carrying capacity. Yes.
so you have like your
There. Boom.
beginning
Okay.
of game
So
skills
yeah,
to
like
apply?
RPG type elements in there too. This is pretty solid, man. Okay. So now I have more carrying
So,
space.
but Vic, when does the Battle Royale mode come out for State of Decay 2?
I don't know. I'm sure that's in the works right now.
But we should just do that at E3, make that a running joke. Just ask every developer, just as the first question, when does the Battle Royale mode come
I
out?
think every journalist is going to be asking that. Every
Cut
smart ass.
cut together a montage of them
Yeah.
all, like just asking 50 different developers, when does the Battle Royale mode come out? When does the Amiibo Battle Royale game come out, Reggie?
Oh, that's it. That's 20 minutes. Clearly, this is a much bigger game than 20 minutes allows for. But that's a little taste of State of Decay 2. I like this. I'm going to keep playing this. I'll be playing some tonight. Maybe I'll stream some more. I'll probably stream it on our Twitch channel. And you guys can help me play it a little bit better. But that's a little taste. I'm sorry I was at nighttime. I just sort of carried on from where I was. But
Sky looks good.
you got a little taste of it. It does look pretty fun.
Okay, bye everyone.
But that's our show for today. We are going to have a very special guest. I'm going to confirm. I'll let you guys know. Follow us on Twitter. I'm Victor_Lucas on Twitter if you don't follow me. But you're going to want to hear from this person. And you're going to want to see that. And we're going to have more reviews and lots of cool interviews and lots more fun with EP Live all week long. So make sure you come back for that. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Audrey on Leon, John Hitbox, Samian 111, Finite Joy, Zach Robichaux, Tyler Fisher, Leaf Fan B, all of you guys, thank you so much. We love doing this show. We'll be back tomorrow. Listen, we got lots of other content for you to check out, so please do, if you dig it, hit subscribe, that little bell if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.